All right, Ivan, dude, we got big news in the MMA world, specifically in the UFC. We don't got time for no intro, so let's get straight into talking, bro. What do you think?
All right, listen. I opened my phone because I received a message from my friend Zach. Shout out Zach. He sent a message saying, "What do you think about the matchups?" And then I looked at my phone. I saw Gavino text me, and I was like, "What are you talking about?" So I look at it and I see that Islam vacated the title.
Yep.
So we unofficially have Islam versus JDM. It's pretty obvious. I mean, I don't think he'd vacate the title without being with Dana White and being like,
Yeah.
"Brother, give me title shot. Give me Mayweather." You know? Um,
Yeah.
so this is going to be a great fight. We'll get into the analytics here in a second, but what are your thoughts on this, man? Because I'm stoked.
Me too. I'm very excited for this fight. I mean, I would have preferred to watch Ilya versus Makhachev, but this outcome is still good. Islam versus JDM is going to be a banger. And that opens up more matchups for the welterweight as well. It's not going to be in a stalemate for a little bit because we can do, yeah, Buckley and Usman. We can have a Gary and Sean Brady, or Sean Brady and
Shopcut.
Shafkat, yeah, while we wait for this matchup to happen, you know?
We need to make contenders fight each other
Yes.
again. Make
Yes.
contender fight for number one, please. And then maybe we'll see Edwards versus Ian Gary or Ian Gary versus Bilal. We'll see.
Dude, yes, I can't believe I forgot about Bilal, but yes, Bilal is
That wasn't even planned. That wasn't
that
a
was
joke.
not
I actually
even
forgot about him.
yeah, that's not that was in the remember the name joke or whatever.
Yeah.
But just to be
Um,
clear, the only this is not confirmed. This is just total speculation from Ivan and I because it's what makes sense. The
Everyone's gonna speculate this fight.
Yeah, everyone
Everyone knows this is gonna happen. It's just a matter of when it's gonna happen.
when it's gonna be confirmed by the UFC and Dana White.
I saw JDM said he wanted to fight in September. Maybe
Oh,
maybe they'll push it back to October because they always go to Abu Dhabi.
mm-hmm.
You know, we'll
Dude,
see.
that would be a banger of a card, dude. Abu
They
Dhabi
always stack
JDM
Abu Dhabi
versus
cards,
Islam.
man.
Yeah,
And this time, it's not Islam facing like 11-day notice, fat out of camp Volkanovski. It's him
yeah,
facing a bigger opponent in JDM because JDM, he's just he's bigger. You know, this is Islam fighting someone who's like bigger than him. This is the first time we're gonna see him fight someone who's bigger than him. So
mm-hmm.
we're gonna have to see.
Dude. Early predictions. Who do you think is gonna win? Like based off of Islam coming off a win against. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter against that win against Moicano because that was a layup win. But now that we saw JDM against Bilal, what's your early prediction on
I
this fight?
think JDM is gonna show levels to Islam, and Islam's grappling won't be as big of a factor in this fight as a lot of people are gonna think
Mm-hmm.
because he is big, yes, but I feel like what we saw with Bilal and Islam, or sorry, Bilal and JDM is gonna be a similar to fight to this one.
Yeah.
But I feel like JDM is gonna have a better performance. He has that confidence of a champion now. We've seen it with fighters where
Mm-hmm.
they're good, but then once they get to that championship level, they just take off and they become the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Yeah. And dude, JDM looked amazing against Bilal, bro. He pieced them up and he stuffed up most of Bilal's takedowns too.
Yeah, and what was it? It was like 2 for 11.
I think three,
It was something
two
crazy.
or three. Yeah, but he stuffed most of the takedowns.
Yeah, so I feel like the grappling factor won't be as big of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen with guys like Craig Jones, guys who train with Craig Jones, their grappling is a lot better defensively because that means he's training the specifics, yeah?
Yeah.
Specifics. Volkanovski, he trained with Craig Jones and look how
Mm-hmm.
good he looked in that first fight. So Craig Jones, make jiu-jitsu gay again, as he says.
Yeah,
Uh,
but sweet. That's all I got for this. So I mean, pretty exciting stuff.
Canadian by fourth round flying knee.
Dang, super early prediction.
Yeah, fourth round flying knee.
Yep. But all right, dude. Let's move on because we got some exciting fights that are actually confirmed.
Oh yeah,
So yeah, a confirmed fight that we have is the lightweight championship fight between Ilia Topuria and Charles Oliveira,
a
dude.
vacant
Yeah, the
lightweight champ.
vacant. Yep.
Yup, yes sir. Man,
Volkanovski, Max Holloway, and now Oliveira, dude.
Charles Oliveira.
Oh.
Listen, man, I'm not saying Oliveira doesn't have a chance here, but I know I just mentioned the fact that these guys aren't weight trained and weight cutting, but we've seen Oliveira get hurt time and time again. Against Taporia, you can't get hurt. He'll
Mm-hmm.
knock you out. We've seen it. As soon as you get hurt, this guy like puts the speed at like 0.25 and just picks his shots so beautifully and
Mm-hmm.
explodes.
Yeah, dude. One of the things that you've said that stuck with me the most is, or about Ili Tupur at least, is that Charles Oliveira needs to be perfect for 5 full rounds, and Ilia Tupuro with one good strike that he gets, he can knock out Charles Oliveira.
The power is a level changer.
Yeah, but we do have,
Any advantage that Oliveira has, Taporia evens it out with the potential just boom that Poppy
yeah,
carries.
and we still have to see how Topuria looks in the lightweight division too, because like you said, his power's still gonna be there, but the durability of his opponents is gonna be a little bit different.
Yeah, I mean we saw him also in his first fight against Jai Herbert in lightweight a couple years
Dude,
ago.
yes, he got
He
he
got
got
dropped.
knocked down. Yeah, he got dropped.
It's like a flash knockdown, but even still, you could tell that he was
Mm-hmm.
wobbled. But we saw him fight through adversity, and like I said, all it took was that boxing combination, and you know, put him to sleep.
Yeah, but dude, how exciting though! This fight is gonna be awesome. For UFC 317, and that's gonna be a stacked card as we're gonna see in the
No, a
next
little bit.
in a little bit. Yeah, and Charles Oliveira, dude, such an entertaining fighter, both on the ground and on the feet. And this is gonna be
He
a
makes
banger of a
grappling
fight,
exciting.
bro.
Yeah, I just hope Charles somehow pulls it off and beats Taporia.
If for some reason this fight goes more than 3 rounds, it has potential to be one of the best fights of the year. But Evan, you got any thoughts? Any more thoughts on this fight besides it being a banger?
Super early fight prediction once again. Charles Oliveira by third round submission.
I got Ilya Tupura, third round
Yeah, I don't
knockout.
blame you. I'm gonna say Charles by third round submission, but I'm gonna tell my brother to put a bet in for me. Ilya by knockout.
It's probably gonna be like a minus 470. Just watch. Yeah, dude. But moving on for the co-main event for UFC 317, we got Andre Pantoja and Kai Kara France, bro.
Andre?
I said Alexandre.
You said Alex. Oh, I heard you say Andre. That's what I was like.
I
Hold
think
on.
I said Alexandre. Whatever.
DeAndre Ayton?
The DeAndre Ayton.
This is another victim to Pantoja. He's just all these flyweights, they're great. You know, there's Moreno, there's Kai France, there's Royval, there's Cop, you know, your Heber Heg. You know, there's all of them, right?
Yeah.
There's all of them. And then there's Pantoja. He's just so much better. I don't care. I just think Pantoja's gonna maul him. I think this is another. I mean, he's proving to us why he's potentially gonna be greater than Mighty Mouse
Mm-hmm.
because there's just levels to this, man.
Yeah. I think this is gonna be not a layup fight, but it's gonna be a pretty similar fight to Kaya Sakura, to be honest. Where
Yeah, I
Kara
think.
France is gonna be able to clip Alexander Pantoja, get some early strikes in, but Pantoja is just gonna show Kara France that there's levels to being a champion.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be like whenever you see a fight announced,
Mm-hmm.
you look at it, you're like, oh, it's a sick fight, but you know the outcome of the fight.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be rooting for Kara France. Not gonna lie, my pick and who I'm gonna be rooting
No.
for are gonna be a little bit different. Cause what a crazy story if Kara France is gonna be able to finish Alexander Pantoja, even though it's probably not gonna happen.
I mean, Pantoja's already beat him before, so
True,
I don't,
true. But what's
and I don't like this little Maltese, like albino Maltese, you know? Yeah, he just pisses me off. Him and his team, you know, something about him just pisses me off.
makes sense. But yeah,
It's like what Cop is to you, Kai Francis
okay,
to me.
makes sense, makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Talking about Cop, let's get a quick
Yeah,
view at the confirmed fights
the bout
for.
list.
Yep, the bout list. There we go for UFC 317 so far. It's looking like a stacked card, as
This looks good. I
International
like it.
Fight Week should be.
Yeah. You know, you have obviously what the most hyped up fight of the card is, Ilya versus Charles,
Mm-hmm.
but you also have Royval and Cop. They're gonna face off. The only like every fight here is sick. right? And then there's just
Okay.
Jonathan Nunez and Justin Safa.
Dude, yeah, I don't know what these both of these guys are doing in here,
I
bro.
mean, like, come on, man. Like, I get it, but come
Dude,
on, man.
they're trying to be slick, but no way.
No, who who gave him? We have to check this. That's exactly how it feels, bro. Who gave them the pass to be on the main card?
That Jack Hermanson versus Gregor Rodriguez is gonna be a banger too. And I know hella people are gonna go crazy for Tracy Cortez. And
She's
they're
fighting Ronaldo Araujo. We got Jack Hermanson and Rodriguez. Last time we saw uh sorry, Jack Hermanson and President Obama, former President Obama. Let me be clear. You know, we have him bouncing back against a crafty vet and Jack Hermanson.
hmm
We'll have to see how he looks because he looked great in that fight with Jared Cannonier up until
hmm
he didn't. He just gassed out. We'll
He
have to
did,
see
yeah, he
because you
did.
can't gas out against Jack Hermanson. He'll find a way to annoy you, frustrate you, and
Yeah,
we saw he did to Joe Piper. He beat someone with heavy hands.
that's true.
So
And let's not forget, we also have Paulo Costa and Roman Kopilov, and the rescheduled fight between Vanil Dariush and Renato Moicano.
yeah, Paulo Costa Kopylov. That's a goated fight.
hmm
I'm glad to see that Costa is staying active,
Yeah.
and he's fighting not exactly a newcomer, but a someone who's newer
hmm
in Kopylov. Um, Shout out all my copy lovers. And then
this guy, this guy.
we have yeah, like you said, the rescheduled fight between Dariush and Moicano, which uh I know who my pick's gonna be. You know,
Yeah.
Dariush, I don't know. He's only getting older.
Yeah, I'm glad they rescheduled this fight. I wanted to see this fight originally, but a good thing they rescheduled. Like I said, I got Renato
They're
Moicano
making
to win
people
this
fight
one.
each other, man.
Mm-hmm.
I would have loved to seen a Dariush versus Rufy
Mm-hmm.
or a Moicano versus Rufy, but
Oh,
hey,
I forgot about that. You're nah, never mind.
yeah. So
It's still a good fight. It's still a good fight.
it's a great fight.
We'll find
But
a good opponent
like I
for.
said earlier, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said earlier, it's a great fight, but Moicano is most likely gonna win.
Yeah. All right, we've been doing early predictions. Let's just do an early prediction for UFC 317, the full fight card. What's your early prediction on this fight card? What do you think it's gonna be good? It's gonna be bad, or what tier would you put it at? Or what tier do you think it's gonna go at?
I feel like it's not gonna deliver to the extent that people think.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are gonna see this card and be like, "What is this?" But I think it's pretty goated. Um, yeah, I feel like it's gonna deliver, but it's not gonna be, card of the year.
I think it's gonna
Like,
be. I think it's gonna be an A tier. If we were to go back and add
oh,
this to
like
a
that?
tier
Yeah,
list,
A tier
yeah,
for
I
sure.
think it'd be an A tier, like a high A tier.
Okay,
That's my early prediction.
I have to agree. Yeah, A tier.
Sweet. And then moving on, we got another confirmed bout, and it's in the middleweight division. DDP versus Kamzat Chimaev.
I forgot about this.
What? How did you forget about this?
Because there's so many fights that have been announced, I forgot.
That's true, but this is also gonna be a banger, dude. The Goofy Goober himself against Kamzat Chimaev.
If we'll have to see who wins. Either Drake is 2.C by straight cartoon shit, or Hamza Chimaev by plot armor.
Yeah.
Cause man, you look at Drickus, he's huge. All right, he's built like a brick wall, straight muscle, all that.
Mm-hmm.
But Chimaev is fast and strong. It's scary, especially
Explosive.
with his
He's
new
very
approach.
scary.
He's been really quiet and calm recently. Just,
Yeah.
he's evolved.
Mm-hmm. Let's just hope
I
this guy
have
doesn't miss
Drickus.
weight or this guy pulls out last minute, because that'll be bullshit.
That's it. Yeah, this guy number one bullshit, brother.
Yeah. Yep.
This guy number one bullshit. Um, but I have Drickus by flying anvil. All right, this goofy goober. He's gonna have an anvil over the cage and he's gonna slip and hit the wall and it's gonna activate and Hamzat's gonna get knocked out
Nah,
by an
dude,
anvil.
Duplessis is about to land a headbutt to the gut, to the liver,
Oh, like the yeah, like yeah.
but it's
The
actually
oh
gonna
yep yep.
connect to the liver and it's gonna shut down Chimaev. Just watch. He's gonna throw an
Yeah, man.
over. He's gonna throw an overhand right, and his head's gonna hit Chimaev's liver, and it's gonna knock him out.
I mean, man, we've seen that Hamzat deals with sickness, so Dricus might sneeze in the cage and get him up out of there.
And not for real though. This is gonna be a banger of a fight. Hopefully,
I'm gonna be on the edge of my seat the entire time.
yeah, me too. And I don't mind either of these guys getting the championship. To be honest.
I'm
Um.
more in favor of Dricus having it than Hamzat
Okay, I can
because
say
that way I
that.
feel like the cards are gonna be more consistent.
Uh huh. Okay,
You
true.
know,
That makes sense. I didn't think about that.
maybe all of a sudden Hamzat gets the championship confidence, like I said
Mm-hmm.
earlier, stays healthy and starts defending the title consistently. And hey, but that's if he wins.
That's
You never know.
true.
Dricus is. We've always, or not. I've always underrated Dricus and looked. On the Robert Whitaker fight, I thought he was going to lose. Clearly, we saw what he did to Robert Whitaker
Yeah.
against Sean Strickland. I thought he was gonna have a tough fight. He did the first time. I thought the Israel fight, that Israel was going to somehow crack him.
Mm-hmm.
We saw what happened there. And then I thought the Sean Strickland fight and Dricus was going to be a close fight, but Dricus shut him out the 5 rounds, broke his nose. And so I'm not going to underestimate Dricus ever again.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just have to watch like more insight on these guys and have to see who comes out on top.
Makes sense. I agree with what you said. A lot of people look over DDP and his ability to fight and his skills, but he's really good. And like you said earlier, this guy's huge. Um, and it's gonna be a great fight.
Yeah.
But
Hopefully everyone is 100% healthy. All these
yes,
fights go
yes,
through.
hopefully. All of
First and
the
foremost.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Early prediction, Ivan, for real.
You know what? Dracus. I'm gonna have Dracus. I don't know how. I don't know how he's gonna pull it off. I just know he's gonna pull it off. Dracus.
I'm gonna go with Kamzat Chimaev to win.
Okay.
I'm not sure how either, but because again, DDP is so unpredictable. But I feel like Kamzat Chimaev is gonna win on the ground, either with a submission or a TKO with ground and pound.
We'll have to see. Hey, I have another prediction.
All
I
right.
believe Dricus is gonna make Hamzat cry. At least once. He's made his last opponents cry. He's gonna make Hamzat cry. Hey, hold on. I just realized. Since this fight is official, Meiki Mavov versus Kaio.
True.
Another number one contender fight. Have it on the same card. Have it on the same card. Matter of fact.
Just in case Kamzat or Dricus Duplessis gets injured, huh? As a backup.
Yeah, and if neither of them get injured, all 4 of them fight, then that way you have the winner fight the winner, the loser fight the loser.
Dude,
Kind of a
yes.
similar situation to what we saw last weekend with Shevchenko versus Fiora. Now we get Natalia Silva versus Shevchenko, and maybe Fiora versus Grasso or something like that.
Yeah. But it's the UFC. The matchmaking sometimes doesn't make sense, so we'll see what happens. But
This is the best case scenario for us if they make those fights, like I said, under the card. But UFC, come on. We know who they are.
yeah. Well, all right, guys. Thanks for watching. I had Ivan join me. You want to say something, Ivan?
Hopefully everyone stays healthy. The fights go on as they should. And if Tyler's watching this, as you can see, I didn't shit on any of the women today. So shout out Tyler.
Shout out to the homie Tyler. But all right, guys. Thanks for so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys in the next video. Adios.